Yes, we're good.
And a very good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. The regularly scheduled meeting of the Bedminster Township Committee for November 6, 2017. We have a quorum tonight. Ms. Santucci is absent. Can I get the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, sir. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News in Somerville and to the Burnesville News in Whippany, to all subscribers, and also posted here at the Municipal Building as of January 9th, 2017.
I'll ask you all to join us in this Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have two sets of meeting minutes, both from our October 16th meeting, our regular minutes from our open session, and our meeting minutes from our executive session. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved, man.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have a social fare permit for the New Jersey Bar Association, November 9th, 2017, 6 to 8 p.m., Peapack Gladstone Bank, 500 Hills Drive, Suite 300, Bedminster. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Public comments. Twice at every one of these meetings, we open up that microphone at that podium for any member of the public that wishes to come and make a statement. Please, when you come up, state your name and your address and speak into the microphone for the audio portion of the recording.
Good evening, Mayor and Committee. Rob Walden, Jersey Central Power and Light, 52 Chatham Road, City of Summit. Just wanted to advise the governing body that our open house for our PSI program is this Wednesday at 6 o'clock at Raritan Valley Community College. This is our 2-year associate's degree program for students who wish to become linemen or linewomen. Again, JCP&L pays for tuition, books, equipment, tools, the whole student shooting match. For anybody who's not looking for a 4-year college degree career, but wants to become a lineman, it's a great opportunity, 6-figure salary shortly thereafter. And most everybody who graduates is offered a job with JCP&L, as I said, as a lineman. So open house at RVCC at 6 o'clock. Certainly encourage anybody who's into that kind of career to join us. And we'll have to answer any questions if there are any.
Terrific. Well, that sounds like a great opportunity. Hey, just a couple things.
Sure.
One good and one a question.
Okay.
I know we had some power outage this last weekend, and I got to say I jumped right on your app. And your app told me exactly where it was and how many people were out and an estimated time of back online, and it was pretty accurate.
Thank you.
So I had a good experience with that, despite having an outage, which happens. But also, I know a couple of your predecessors had been in the loop on some issues we'd had over the past couple of years, especially in the Hills development, where they seem to still continue to get nuisance outages. Not, 2 or 3 hour outages, but they'll come home and sometime during the day, all their clocks are back at 1200. So I don't know if you can continue to kind of tweet, see if we can figure out if there's something systemic with that. That'd be something we'd appreciate.
Sure. My predecessors advised me that was a common issue in Bedminster. I will certainly keep on top of it. And
Mr. Payne, who's seated to your right, when he was sitting on this dais, was the go-to guy who got a lot of data on that and helped pass that along. So anything you can do in a continuous basis to help us with that would be appreciated.
we'll do.
To that point, Mayor, it has been progressively better over the last couple of years, the frequency and the duration.
Yeah. So that's good news. But I know a couple of us got some feedback over the recent weeks, not from this past weekend, but I think the one the previous weekend and some others. So, but thank you, and thanks for that information.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on. There will be another public comment section at the end. Monthly reports by our subcommittee chairs. We will start with Mr. Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Attended a Jacobus Vanderveer House meetings past, I guess it was last month. they're getting up for Colonial Christmas. That's the big event for the organization. November 24th and 25th, we'll kick it off, and then they've got some events on December 2nd. Excuse me, yes, December 2nd and December 3rd. It's an event for the house, and just like to see everybody get out there if they can. One of the things that's new this year is on the 2nd, that's Saturday the 2nd, they're going to do like a Santa picture type thing with people can bring their dogs down. So I thought it'd be a nice thing to dovetail the dog park with that event on the 2nd. So perhaps I just talked with John. We're going to try to make that work and do like a kickoff for the dog park on the 2nd.
Great.
And then they can roll over and get their Santa photos done.
I got it.
The other thing that was mentioned, that the grant did not come through for the county, so there's some discussion about the trailer. And so there's been no real answer, but the discussion is starting about what to do with the trailer, if anything. That John, they mentioned that you've warned them many a time that the wood in there needs to be checked. So that's going to happen. So I'm going to make sure that the wood in there is still being preserved, but they're aware of the need for the trailer to perhaps be relocated at some point if it's going to be there for an extended period of time. But all systems are go. Everybody's full on. Colonial Christmas is an all hands on deck thing, as we know. Robin Ray has done a tremendous job getting that up and running. So I'm looking forward to it this year.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Key.
Mayor, good evening, everybody. Just a quick update. The Master Plan Reexamination Committee met with the Bedminster Board of Education on October 19th, and Mayor Park was there as well. We gave them an overview of the process and invited their comments. They've established a single point of contact with us, and they'll feed back their comments within the next 45 days. So we're looking forward to getting feedback from the school, and they had a lot of good questions during that overview.
Thank you.
That's about it.
Mr. Gibbs.
Since our last meeting, News Board did not have a meeting, and neither did the Environmental Committee. There are meetings this week for the Land Use Board, so I'll be able to report at the next meeting.
Excellent. The only thing I will piggyback on to Mr. Hickey, I attended the Board of Ed meeting last month, and probably the most notable thing coming out of that meeting was the retirement and farewell resignation for Board Vice President, but longtime President Lou Casella. And Lou got up and said a few words that I'd just like to share some of his sentiments. One of the things he advised the board as he left was that no matter where it's held, no matter what your personal opinions are, he would encourage the new board to reorganize with the township. We tried to do something different. It didn't work last year, but he said in the big picture, that's a mistake. And he said these two boards should be together at the beginning of the year to reorganize, and he says he hopes that the new board and the new township committee will come together to reorganize in January. So I do appreciate that. I will tell you, from my personal perspective, Lucas Ella took the Bedminster Board of Education through some pretty rocky waters. He went through, I think, technically four superintendents, and took over shortly after a budget failure, and has really done a yeoman's job with service to Bedminster Township. And I want to thank him publicly for all he's done for the township, all he's done for the kids and the Board of Ed, and we absolutely appreciate his service. I personally very much appreciated the work that he and I have been able to do together. Didn't always agree on things, didn't always get exactly what each of us wanted, but I have tremendous respect for what Lou Casella did for Bedminster Township over the past many years. So we wish him well, and we know that they haven't named a new vice president yet, but I'm sure they will very shortly. And Jeff Reeves continues on as president. Anyway, we will move on to our administrator's report. That's all I have.
Okay. A few things. First, Bedminster Charities, just like to give a little report. We had meeting Tuesday night, do a wrap-up. I have to say it's one of the best years yet that I've been involved with. The first initial estimate, we still have a couple small bills coming in, but the initial estimate is proceeds of over $45,000. That with even keeping out a certain amount of money to start next year up with to do the various costs we need to do. So that's over about $6,500 per charity.
Wow.
And in the past, the average has been between $500 and $5,300. So
Wow.
to beat that by over $1,000 is big. So I have to say that wasn't any one person's made that happen. It was quite a group that came together, and we did a few things a little bit different, and I think it was weather and a different date, and it all came together and made for a great event. So,
Judy, was the additional revenue coming in from sponsorship or from attendees?
I have to say the front gate addition was up. We estimate around about 2,500 people paying through the gate. I have to say the silent auction came in over $10,000, which is big.
Oh.
We did bring on Mallinckrodt as a new sponsor. However, they will replace a previous sponsor that we lost. So we lost one, we gained one, but it was certainly helpful. So. I'd like to just remind everybody we have the League Convention coming up next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 14th, 15th, 16th. There is a package of information for each of you with all information about the event, room information, event information, and various tickets. If you have any questions, let me know. Either myself or Diane Gibson can give you the answers to any questions you might have. I have some financial updates. I'm going to skip the first one. We have a bond ordinance that was adopted back in 2016 that was to be money to put aside for the purchase of property at 2100 Lamington Road. That transaction didn't happen, but the bond ordinance was completed for $1.9 million, and that ordinance has never been funded. It's sitting there just waiting. Deb Stern, our CFO, did need to make a cash deposit, down payment on that ordinance of $100,000, which was a transfer from an open space trust account to the capital account. And that just sits there until we decide if we're going to fund it. So now the question is anything going on at this property that we might want to, because that money is for that purchase only.
This is Meyer, right?
The Meyer property, yes. So is there still something that we might be approached about? Is there anything still pending? I don't know what the answer to that might be. The auditor suggests maybe we let it sit, review it in the spring of 2018, and at that time we could cancel it if we feel there's nothing going forward. It's no harm, no foul to let it sit for another year. The 100,000 did get moved over, but if we cancel, the 100,000 will just get moved back. Okay, so that's just an FYI. It's still sitting there, but no funding has been done. We've also, Chief Brock, Deb Stern, and myself have requested the auditor to petition the state to allow us to create a new dedication by rider, which is a big word for a trust account. It would be a special trust account for funding that we might receive from the government for security purposes for when President Trump is in town. It hits the chief's overtime line. If we had a trust account, similar to we have a trust account for snow, we have a trust account for open space and other things. This would be a trust account that any money would come from the government would automatically go into that account. It would sit there and can only be used for security for the president, which we will be experiencing over the next, 3.5 years. So we're hoping that they will give us permission for that special trust account. So we're waiting to hear. We currently have been authorized, you'll see on the agenda tonight, to accept Our first installment, which was from the 2016 visit, when it was still President-elect Trump, for $5,389. And then the chief has been notified of approximately $54,000 for this year to date. So that those monies would go into this trust account and could then be reimbursing to the various overtime lines.
All right.
Just a quick question. So why is Deb recommending that we create the dedication by rider trust account?
When we're treating those monies, those reimbursements are treated as if they're a grant, and they're not specified in our budget. So we need to reimburse, and you need to then do a Chapter 159, and you have to petition the state to allow you to add that to your budget, and it takes a period of time before you can actually accept that money. If we have a dedication by rider, we don't have to wait. We have a place for it immediately, and it's available to the chief to use immediately.
So creating that is actually an
It's
administratively easier
it's
than just
streamlined.
going general revenue back to general revenue?
You can't do that. You have to have a place in your budget for that money. You just can't accept it. You have to have, it has to be listed in your budget, and that's when we have to then send paperwork down to Trenton to show them we're accepting this grant, if you want to call it a grant.
When we make the application for the funds, doesn't that create the line item
Not
in the
until you
budget?
can guarantee that it's coming. You have to have a written document that you are getting the money. And that's what took time. So if we had a dedication by rider, we can accept it immediately. We don't have to petition the state.
And lining that up with the, I guess it's the is it Secret Service or is it the, just the feds? Where's that money coming from?
So the first round did go through FEMA, and it's taking a little bit longer to do the whole thing. After that, now it is coming through the federal government, and it would be a little bit more streamlined as well. But the dedication by rider, we can accept it immediately, and it can be used immediately.
And still, it's dedicated specifically to the police overtime budget?
It would be dedicated for those security jobs related to the president, and it would just sit there for the chief to use when he needs it.
Okay. But when it's sitting there for the chief to use it, but it's not prospective money, it's reimbursement of past expenses.
Correct. So it's reimbursed immediately through his line, so it's available to him much quicker. It's just a streamlined process without a lot of paperwork. Okay. It's just easier for us.
All right, thank you, Judy.
And the last thing, there's also, as you know, every year, usually the end of November, beginning of December, we go out to bid for our bond anticipation note. Every year we get a new rate for interest on a loan. You can do this for up to a 10-year period before you would need to actually go to a full bond. Currently, our ban this year is down to $724,325. The current rate on it last year was 2.25%. This year, Stern and I met with the auditor again, and he suggested this last year. We weren't real comfortable, but this year is $724,325. The suggestion is that we fund it ourselves. How will we do that? Probably through either our sewer utility budget or through our open space trust account. Since we don't have anything really going on in the sewer utility, we're suggesting and recommending that we go there. Now, we did speak with Bernie Payne, who's chairman of our sewer advisory committee, and just to get some input from them. You want to comment?
Sure. Thank you, Judy. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, Judy and I spoke last week. Currently, there's $2,057,880 that are in the operating account for the sewer utility. So if the money was to be borrowed, in this case 724, it would leave in the operating account about $1.3 million, which is probably more than enough than we would ever need for any operating contingency. And that doesn't include monies that we have in the capital account. So unlike open space, where there might be an upcoming or an emerging purchase of open space where we would need to tap the majority of the funds, our history with the sewer utility is that we would probably never have to invade the balance of the $1.3 million, and this is after we lend in 24. It's a kind of an imaginative and very ingenious idea. I just wish we thought of it a little sooner, maybe. But thanks to our auditor who brought it to our attention that it is feasible for us to accomplish this. Now, I'm speaking as the chairman of the committee. I haven't had a chance to poll all the members of the sewer advisory, and I'll do that electronically this week. But I'm safe to say I don't see where would be any objection. The numbers seem to work out. As far as an interest rate that we would be paying back, it would be commensurate with market rates. Judy, I'm not sure if you've been able to get an idea of
So
what
how
we
this
have.
would work, we are scheduled, there's a resolution we'll adopt tonight. It does schedule that the bid, whether we're going to go out to public bid or we're going to do it ourselves, the bid would be taken on November 21st. November 21st, Deb would reach out to bond counsel who would recommend whatever the market rate is average that day. So we're going to get, at least what we would have gotten had we gone out to bid, and then we're going to take that interest rate, whatever it is, and we're going to pay it to ourselves. So it is that we're get a deal, it's just we're not paying it to anybody else but ourselves. So it's just a great idea.
Yeah, and furthermore, it's not like the sewer operating account is going to be taking a hit to do this. I mean, currently the $2 million and change is sitting there in a money market account at 0.15%. So we're searching for some little better yield here, and the money only gets tied up for the 1 year because they are a bond it's simulating a bond anticipation note. So therefore, after a year, if for some reason we didn't want to continue it, we could go back out to the open market, and the money would just be paid back.
Let me comment on that.
Yep.
The one negative, if you want to say so, the auditor told us if we do this, if we fund it ourselves, for the life of then that ban, we can no longer go out to bid, public bid. We would have to self-fund it till...
Oh, for the life of the ban.
For the life of that
Okay.
particular ban. So,
But we wouldn't have to fund it from
724
here,
this
though.
year, it would be, we do about 250 a year, so it would be 500 next year, then probably 250, and so we're talking 4 years, we would continue to self-fund it, but it is going
But
up.
what I meant to say was that we wouldn't have to fund it from the sewer utility. We could self-fund it from another source.
Oh, sure, but we
Yeah.
would have to do it it would
Right,
be
right.
ourselves.
So if for some reason we decided we wanted to go to open space or somewhere else.
You could
to
do half and half, part sewer,
Right.
part open space,
Yeah.
whatever we wanted to do.
Yeah. You have some flexibility on a year-to-year basis. I guess the follow-up would be is I'll email the rest of the members of the Sewer Advisory Committee. I'll get back to you, Judy, with any comments they have, but I can't anticipate any objections.
So the resolution tonight is to allow us to roll it over and do another bid on the 21st. It's whether we're either going to self-fund it or we
Yep.
would go out to...
Yeah, we have 2 weeks before we figure out where we
Have a
go.
meeting on the 20th.
All right,
So.
very good.
Good,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion on introduced ordinances. We don't have any, but we do have one ordinance to introduce tonight, and that's ordinance 2017-020. It's an ordinance authorizing the extension of the open space tax in Bedminster Township. This ordinance authorizes the extension of the current open space tax in Bedminster for a period of 10 years. The public hearing for this ordinance is scheduled for November 20th, 7 p.m. in these chambers. Any comments or questions? I'll take a motion to
If I could make a quick comment.
Yep, sure.
Mr. Bellardo and I talked about this. This was renewed back in 2008 and extended till December 31st this year. Doesn't have to be on the ballot or anything like that. It can
Right.
just be extended. I did the ordinance myself with John's review. I put another 10-year time frame, and then I just picked the public hearing to be at our next meeting, but it could be at a meeting, it would just have to be done before the end of the year. If you wanted to
Okay.
extend the public hearing time, you could do that.
Okay.
Make a motion to introduce.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Public hearing on ordinances. We don't have any. We have 2 items on the consent agenda. Any comments or questions? Now I'll take a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacob?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thanks.
Resolutions, we have 4 additional resolutions. The first one is, as Ms. Sullivan pointed out, Resolution 2017-103, authorizing the issuance of $724,325 in a bond anticipation note under 3 bond ordinances. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
This is also a roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacob?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thanks.
Resolution 2017-104, transfer, a transfer of funds to the amount of $65,600. Any comment, questions? I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Transfer of funds requires a roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacob?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thanks.
Resolution 2017-105, this is authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement for the resale of commodities and other related services with Somerset County Department of Public Works from 2017 to 2021. Judy, John, could you give us a little bit more on this?
We do this every few years where this is a resolution to allow us to buy goods from Somerset County through their cooperative purchasing.
All right.
So
It really doesn't cost us anything to participate.
Nope.
participation.
Any other comments or questions? I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Again, roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacob?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye. And finally, Resolution 2017-106, authorizing the insertion of a special item of revenue and insertion of an item of appropriation for an equal amount for the 2017 budget to include funding for the FY17 President-elect Security Assistance and Reimbursement Grant Program. This is what we were just talking about, right? All right. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
Is this the resolution that we would need to,
So, as I said, if we had a dedication by rider, we wouldn't have to do this. So this requires us to accept the grant money, we have to insert another line in our budget, an appropriation and a funding on both sides. Then we have to send it to Trent and have them review it, which takes a couple of weeks, and then they let us know that it's approved, and they let us put it into the budget. It just takes a long time. So the chief that can't have this money, or can't do anything with it, until it's been accepted and reviewed.
but this is the resolution that starts that process?
Yes.
And any more questions? We'll take a motion.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Again, roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye. Approval of the bill list. Can I get a motion to approve the bill list pending the approval of individual invoices?
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry.
I move.
Thank you.
Colin, second.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye. Discussion items. Are there any items up for discussion that are not on the agenda tonight, or new business? If not, we will move to old business. Start with the potential sale of 130 Hillside Avenue. Judy, anything new on that?
Actually, I had one of the neighboring property owners come in and see me today, asked me, was there any status update? I did have a conversation with Mr. Delaro today as well. We discussed a response to a letter that was sent to his office from an attorney representing one of the contiguous neighbors. So we're going to be sending out that response shortly, just as to what the next step should be. It wouldn't be something that we would be doing for due diligence. We provided what information we had in our file. So, and then we'll wait and see.
All right. Dog park. Doug, you already kind of talked a little bit about that. Anything new to add?
No, we're just trying to get it brought online for 12, to see if we can make that work. The
Fence
fence-
company was supposed to be out there today, but apparently they didn't show up, so we'll keep on them and see.
Well, really, your reviews are good. Gotten lots of people saying they're appreciative of the efforts being made, so thank you.
Well, it's not a lot of tree work down there. Is that all, that's all?
Yeah, I mean, the state through their tree replacement programs have been down there quite extensively in the natural area. So if you see any activity down there equipment-wise, that's what's going on. So we are still waiting to see if there's going to be any additional trees that need to be placed that we could possibly put in the dog park area if that's the case. So we're working on it.
And something that probably is under old business, or used to be under old business, might need to be back under new business, and I don't want to get too far into it because Stacy's not here, but we probably need to talk about, bring back our property over on Black River Road. See where it's at.
I haven't heard,
I know.
Pete,
I haven't either.
anybody.
I know. But Stacy's kind of been the point person on that, so I don't want to.
But last week,
She comes back.
Contact us with an update of their proposal in early August,
Right. And it's November, I know. So I think we may see that back on the agenda in the new year. Maybe we need to get back on that. All right.
Suggesting I put it back on when?
Well, let's talk about it next meeting. Stacy should be back for that, and we'll see. Which brings us to our second public comment opportunity. If there's any member of the public wishes to comment, as stated earlier, that microphone, that podium, state your name and your address for the audio recording.
Thank you, Mayor Bernie Payne, Bedminster Township. Just a reminder that for the League of Municipalities Convention next week, the Somerset County Governing Officials Association, I think you might even have a flyer in your packet, will be having their second annual dessert reception at Caesars, 8:30 to 10:30. If you were there last year, it was very well attended, and the RSVPs are running very high right now, so high that they had to go get a bigger room at Caesars for it. So if you're going to be down there, come and see us at the governing
Is that
officials.
Tuesday?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
Night, 8:30 to 10:30 at Caesars.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you know you're definitely going to come, let me know, and I'll get you through the velvet rope, so to speak.
I think we already gave a response.
Oh, you did? Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie.
Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll go to Township Committee comments. We'll start with Mr. Stevenson.
No comments.
Mr. Hickey?
No comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Jacobs?
Tomorrow is Election Day. So for anyone out there, for all of you out there, please get out and vote. That's it, Mayor.
And I will give the speech I give every year at this time, although it's on a recording, so no one will, except for the folks in this room, will see it until well after Election Day. But this marks into the campaign. Monday night, it's over. The campaign is over. The campaign should be over. Tomorrow, I will ask both campaigns to let the voters vote. And we have regulations on electioneering and how close you can get to buildings and whatever, but I'll make my plea that I make every year. It's over tonight. Let the people have their say tomorrow. Leave them alone. And at this time tomorrow night, it'll all be sorted out. I wish both candidates best of luck. We do have an executive session tonight. There may be a resolution coming out of executive session. So do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, it is 8:44, and we are out of executive session. Let me make sure I have the right. We are also joined telephonically by Committeewoman Santucci, who is at the phone in front of my microphone here. And we have one resolution, and Resolution 2017-012, the appointment of a hearing officer with a professional service contract. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a second? Mr. Hickey?
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Uh,
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Thank you. And Mayor Parker?
Aye.
So that would be for the individual who was discussed in executive session at the rate on this proposal form.
Correct.
Affirmative.
Okay, I need to add that to the resolution before you was blank. There was no name.
Right.
So I will do that after the mayor's signature shortly.
I will stick around for that. All right, having said that, can I get a motion to adjourn for the evening?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good luck.
Good night. Thanks, Stacy.
Thank you.